Thank you.
Good evening. For those that don't know, my name is Greg Pendergradsky from County Head Fussell. I'm the association's attorney. So this was a notice meeting of the membership, the quarterly meeting for May 4th, 2026. It requires 1/5 of the total number of units to have quorum. There are 2,443 units. That requires 489 owners. There are 105 members here in attendance. There is no quorum to have this meeting, so this will be an informational session. Everybody obviously is here, welcome to listen to the officers and to the staff as far as what's going on in the community. It will be Q&A. Thank you.
I will have the supervisor's report. We have 3 minutes of supervisor's report, and we'll do the report, and then you have 3 minutes to speak to hear the questions, okay? Gina, Connor, please.
Good evening. Our fiscal year 2025 annual audit by our CPA firm is almost completed. Once the board approves it, you can obtain a copy of it from a folio, the library, or the administration office. Skip, our accountant, will be scheduled to come and recap what was reported, as well as answer any questions you may have. As of February, we have resumed funding our reserves, and catch-up payments began in March. The catch-up amounts will be fully transferred before the end of the fiscal year. As you are aware, your HOA payment is due the first of the month. Please take into consideration holidays, weekends, when allowing time for processing and posting of your payments. If your payment is not credited to your ledger by the 15th of the month, please contact Regina with any concerns. If you do not wish to have email reminders from Appfolio regarding your HOA payments, you must log into Appfolio. Go to your profile page, uncheck receive monthly reminders, email or text. If you receive a late notice or have any questions regarding a collections matter, please contact Joanne. Please be mindful Joanne is only part-time. Please feel free to contact myself if you have any immediate concerns. Appfolio is a third-party vendor. The accounting department cannot adjust, cancel, or reimburse any payments you have scheduled. Please contact us if you need assistance editing your portfolio. Please be advised, the only payments that we can process by phone are debit and credit cards. The credit cards are a 3% fee, debit card is no fee. If you want to pay with your checking account, please come to the administration office and complete the necessary paperwork. Thank you.
Any questions, Regina?
I'm 684A for the code. Gina, I just want to know, do you have an accounting degree or your CPA? What
I have been doing it since I was 21. I'm 52 now. I've done it in all different aspects. I've been an accountant for the Teamsters Union, the IBC. I did it for insurance companies for the majority of my career.
Okay, because you previously were just staff in the office, correct?
No, I came on as the accounting manager.
Okay, thanks.
Any more questions for Gina? Thank you, Gina. Next, Bill Fritz, administration.
Hi, good evening, everyone. We're now getting back to our busy season as residents begin to shift their focuses back to the outdoors, and all of the outdoor activities are getting back into full swing. So if you are planning to do work inside or outside of the unit, please make sure you complete one of the Leader Village permits, obtain any Lakewood Township permits when they're required, and obtain board approval before beginning any work. When you're filling out the permits, please list exactly what is being completed. I'll give you an example. If you just list that I'm renovating a kitchen or renovating a bathroom and that's all that you're putting, it won't be accepted. We're going to send it back for additional information. It must list specifically what work is being done, For example, the permit should include things like all work being completed, such as new cabinets and countertops, recessed lighting, appliances, removal of a partial wall between the kitchen and the living room areas, a new HVAC system, or new floors throughout the unit, or new floors in the kitchen area or the bathroom area. This information will help expedite getting your permits done and approved. If it's not received, we'll unfortunately take it back to get this information. So if we can do that up front, it's going to make it faster for everyone. Additionally, your contractors, if you're using them, will need to submit their supporting documents with the permit. And also, just as a reminder, to make sure that you submitted and we have a current HO6, your insurance, homeowner's insurance declaration page on file with us. Once we have that, we're not going to hold it up. We'll get that through and push for you. If you have any increases, if there is a $25,000 minimum on the dwelling that has to be on there, it's been like that for some time now, so just make sure that you take a look at the dwelling portion of the policy. It had been previously, I believe, $10,000 or $15,000. It's a very small amount to increase it to the $25,000. Additionally, if you do have any questions regarding the permit process, reach out to Julie in administration. She'll walk you through, guide you through. She'll do the same thing with your contractors if we need. Additionally, Buckingham Pool will be opening on the 16th of May, and Dorchester Pool will open for Memorial Weekend beginning on the 23rd. It's a great time to look now and try to dig out your smart cards if you haven't used them. Any family members that are residing in your unit, again, their smart cards. If you realize that you have more than one, double check with us which the current one is and the one that's active for your use, so you don't go to the pool area and be denied. People tend to lose them sometimes. It happens, you don't see them for months at a time. You go in the drawer, you find one, but you found the old one and you had gotten a newer one the previous year. So just get with us. We can make sure that you have the right one so that once you get to the pool, you can go and enjoy. If you find that you have misplaced it, we ask that you reach out to us in advance. So again, we can make sure that we have your picture on file. We can expedite the process of having it done and ready for you when you come in. So we do suggest appointments as walk-ins tend to get very, very busy at this time. And we really do want to help expedite the process and you be back out and enjoy yourselves as quickly as you can. So once again, we thank you for all your support with the administration office.
Any questions for Phyllis?
Hello, my name is Sal Spinelli. I live in 577A Lake Point. I have a question for Phyllis. We had purchased 2 plaques additionally for a bench in front of our unit, and it's over 2 years now, and I haven't gotten the plaques attached to the benches yet.
Okay, one I believe exactly was. Can you refer what the second one was? Because I know that there were delays and some concerns with that.
The first one was under John Hills.
Okay, and the other one?
It was under my name, Spinelli.
Okay.
When I visited you at the office in, I think it was January of 2025, it said to me that one was coming in March and one was coming in April. And I haven't heard anything. I called, got an email, nothing.
I'll get back to you directly. I know we did have an issue with the second one, and that was getting the approvals and whatnot, and their prices went up a lot. So I'll get with you specifically on yours, but I believe the other one's not yet.
Okay, but is the other one still not on the bench?
Let me take a look and I can get back to you directly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Anne Marie, 353D. Phyllis, hopefully you're the person I should reference to. Just a suggestion, the monthly magazine. It's going online, I know everybody, a lot of people aren't fond of Facebook, but it gives a lot of information. Is there any way in the magazine that we could have one holistic page, maybe front and back, listing the board administration's name, phone number, email address, so people don't have to go through multiple pages. And then for like emergency numbers, fire department, I'm just saying, helpful things, MUA, what are those? Like animal control, things of that nature.
Okay, we'll take a look. We have a single page that we have in administration that has like those Lakewood Township kind of numbers
Right.
already on it. We can look to see if I can do a front back. The board information is always there on that same page. We did put out a couple of months back with a who to contact, but let me see if we can consolidate it on the front.
If something to make it easier, especially for, the old residents, and also like do it in large print, not a lot of color behind it, because I think sometimes it's hard for people to see, to make out with poor eyesight. So just like an information page, maybe they can tear out and, put it on their refrigerator.
Yeah, we'll try to do the same tear out like we did for
Like service, yes, and things like that, that would be great. Also, are you the person, I'm just, how we're doing with, again, for insurance purposes, making sure that everyone is getting their dryer vents cleaned out. Last meeting, Tom had mentioned a lot of claims regarding water issues. Is there any way that there could be a check and balance if they're not, if people aren't on file of getting a new water heater, that water heaters can be checked to the age? So we know if there's one that's still in a home like 20 years old, that's going to be needing replacement, so we're not getting water claims, because they say that there was a lot of water claims, and that everyone has their smoke and CO detectors, and that they're working. So I don't know if there's a way that, if even you're the right person for us, that we can make sure that everybody in the village is compliant.
Okay,
with
well, I'll
what
look
is
at that
said.
information and see what things are between us and the service department, things that we're able to do. And I don't know that all of them are, but let's.
Right, right. Because I'm just thinking safety-wise for everybody else in their strip. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Questions for Phyllis? Thank you, Phyllis. Frankie Rodriguez, buildings.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to start with the projects, and then I'll finish up with numbers. So right now, Roof Master has done 16 buildings, 44 units. So there is 33 units that still has to be attended, as in they have 2-layer roof. Now, a lot of people keep asking me, why isn't my roof done? There's a beginning and there's an end. There's no in between. So there's a area that we pick, and that's where we'll start. So fortunately, they're going to get done, but we can't jump around. So we try to do everything in one location first, and concentrate on the 63 that needs to be done, and then we'll start all over again. The painting project already started, they're already in Plymouth, just painting on the curves and the speed bumps. Tomorrow we're going to start painting the Grove parking lot, the monument area. We're going to convert it back to a walk-in area to the flag. The pools are getting ready, so Buckingham will be open on the 16th, and the guys are prepping that up. The boats are getting power washed and be in for the opening of Dorchester's pool. There were some poles that had to be fixed by the dock that were rotted out, so we replaced those. Also, there were a couple of trees that knocked down some of the fence in the 436 area and by gate 1 that were repaired. JCP&L is still here, and as you see, there's a bunch of wires just piled up. We call and see what's going on, but the more people that call, the faster usually it'll get done. So the more people that call, it'll be better. The fountains are put in the lake area. The one in the back has an issue with the light. They'll be coming in to fix and see what's going on with that. The fountain by the flag, we're looking to see what's going on with that. It's starting to deteriorate, so that's why that is not on right now. So we're trying to figure out what's the best thing to do with that. And the last thing is, when you guys call the guardhouse on the weekends and after hours, please be by the phone when I call you back. I have a lot of people that call for emergencies. I call them back and nobody picks up. So I have to verify before I send somebody out to see what's going on. Because it could be a quick fix over the phone, or it could be a major fix. But if you guys don't answer the phone, I can't help you. Any questions?
Sharon Wagner, 684 Plymouth Drive. Frankly, on Saturday, the maintenance gate was wide open for hours with no one around. Do you have an explanation for that? I mean, my neighbor's worried. She has a camper that she keeps sat there. And it seemed like nobody was around and one gate was wide open.
If it's on the weekend, it's usually the residents that leave the gate open.
If it's on the weekend, what?
It's usually the residents, either somebody with a motorcycle.
Okay, well, that's fine. I don't care who left the gate open. I want to know what's going to be done about this kind of stuff.
Well,
That's the answer I'm looking for. Like, not just like, oh, somebody just left the gate open, sorry.
if it's up to me, I'll eliminate the whole area
But
so
this
people can get in.
is a part of this problem. We come to these meetings to voice what we see, to voice what our complaints are, and people are getting mad. They don't want to come anymore because there's never any answers. There's never accountability, responsibility, transparency. There's nothing.
Sharon.
You're a supervisor. No,
I just want to answer, I just want to say something. If you see something like that, call me and I'll get it straightened out. Frankie's not here on the weekend, so no, if nobody's calling him.
But it shouldn't be happening. I shouldn't have to, when I take my dog for a car ride or a walk, doing other people's jobs. I'm getting tired of it. Are you going to take that off my maintenance fee?
But that's what this village is about. If someone sees something, they're supposed to report it. That's what makes this village safe.
I'm getting tired of doing the job of other people.
Exactly.
Okay, did anyone show you the geyser we have over on Plymouth? These guys turn those sprinklers on. Not one person came back to check the direction of the sprinklers. I did a video the other night, okay? The head is laying on the ground. It's a geyser 15 feet up in the air for almost a week and a half.
Where's report? On Facebook, but not reported to where the...
I'm not reporting things anymore. It's not my job. Not
That is ridiculous. We live here, we're all supposed to be village people, we're all supposed to help each other out. If you see something going on, you're supposed to report.
Okay, so
report it to me or report it to management. So
I'm reporting that John is not doing his job. Now, you know what my neighbors have to put up with? John looping around my house at 7:15 in the morning, leaning on a horn in his little Kubota,
Well, that's-
thinking he's
that's
funny.
awful.
Yeah.
well, that's
That's harassment. That's what that is.
reported to anybody?
Did I report it? Well, I've been asking Sandy G about how APRs work, but I can't get a straight answer about whether I can bring an APR against him.
I'll talk to Tom about that, and
Yeah.
we'll see what's going on with that.
Dr. Doherty, 622A. Question regarding the lights. Now, most of you know that Richie Meyer in the back and myself go out every Wednesday and we inventory the lights, the JCP&L lights. Sometimes we do the black ones in the village because they get burned out to where they work. So the JCP&L ones, 2 years now, we've been going around and Richie almost knows them like, you know, a day. That's 622A, that's 347. I mean, we've got, let's count 50 of them. 50 are not working. I'd like to know who you're talking to with JCP&L, because the person that I had is no longer answering his phone and he's not answering any emails. So who are you talking to, because it's not working either?
It's called the direct number, the emergency number that's on there.
You have to talk to a live human being?
No.
I'm just guessing, I'm not trying to put out the spot.
this is not report.
I can answer that. So I've still been communicating with Bob Rice on there. And yes, he doesn't respond very well most of the time, but he's still with JCP and very much still involved.
Same position?
Same position.
What excuses to give him? Because first it was, they fall down, we've got to fix them. Then they got new light bulbs, they didn't like the light bulbs. I mean, I've had every number of excuses. What are you getting from them? They're not fixing 50 lights around. People are complaining all the time, and we keep responding on Facebook, this is what's happening, nothing.
So you can see throughout the community, there are many areas around the pole set up with some safety netting. They are running new underground wires. They're using a subcontractor to run the wires in series. I understand they're very close to finishing, but I've been asking for probably the past month for a confirmed completion date. I haven't received
Are you asking for Bob or somebody else?
from
I mean, I really like Bob. He was in here, he looked at everything, explained it, but now he's not even answering the phone. And like we say, there's holes, now we've got these great big holes. You know, up on Huntington, you can bury coffins up there. So you don't have any answer either. I mean, it's not for the people that are here, it's not just our village. Other villages are having the same problems. Okay?
All right. Kerry has something to say.
Regards to the JCP&L, I mean, they're a bureaucracy like everybody else. I do have a little bit of pull with them because my husband worked for them for 40 years. Lighting in particular is what they consider an overtime job or an extra job. But with the way the weather's been, these guys are already being sent out to other states to handle any disasters because they travel to Virginia, Maine, Texas, Tennessee, Georgia. They go to all these other problems. So if they have extra men and they're not doing anything, they'll put them on lighting. As far as the ones with the transmission problem, the biggest problem I have, and I have this directly from them, they have no paperwork to guide them on any of the switches from when it was put in 60 years ago. So they're kind of going blindly on how to rehook all of these switches from one transmitter to another. And most of your lighting is on that one side. Whenever you see that red tape, they've checked it and that needs to be completely rewired. Now they'll say that will be there, but it's going to be there whenever they have a few extra guys to be there. The other side of the story is, and my husband would tell anybody this, the easiest way to get something done faster, the homeowner has to specifically call BPU, not JCP&L. Exactly, but the more you complain, that BPU is the one that eventually says to JCP&L, okay, we've got all of this, you have no choice. I know, my mother did the same thing, she lived in one neighborhood village. But that's the best you can do, is a homeowner's call BPU with the poll numbers and just push them, because they're going to get on top of JCP&L, and eventually that's the only way it's going to get done. As far as the ones that are tied into those transformers, until they can figure out every one of those switches, that's why it's taking them so long to do the work. Because they're basically going from scratch, because they don't want to get electrocuted, nor do they want to shut off all your power while they're trying to hook up these new transformers. I don't have a hand for you.
I think, what's her name? Kathy Gorey might have it. You have the number, right, Kathy? Oh, you don't have that? I think you had that. We'll get the number for you. All right, next question.
Susan Stroud, 342D for Frankie. Regarding the roofing, and I understand you want to do roofs in the same area and get them all done. Do you still prioritize leaking roofs?
Correct, yes. That's the first.
You did
That's the first.
mention that, so I didn't know.
No, that's the first thing we look at. Anything that there's an issue, something that it needs to be replaced because it's leaking or it's caving in or a branch went through.
Oh, it has to keep in.
Well, when the guys walk and blow, they'll notify me, or Wes will notify me that, listen, that roof is soft, maybe take a look at it.
Okay. Also regarding the curb painting, is there any reason that they're painting over the building? They're not doing a power wash before they paint?
Well, they're brushing it, they're not blowing it this year. So everything is hand broomed instead of being power washed.
It's not how I see it.
Thank you. Next.
Anne Marie, 353D. Just to touch on Carrie's point, that number and what we have to do, that would be good to have on that new page, hopefully that we have in the magazine, easy access, like helpful end page for everyone. Frankie, regarding the old Wheeler building, the administration, has that been remediated yet regarding the mold issue?
Yes, everything's been taken care of.
Are we renting that out?
That's, if we find somebody to rent it,
And do you know how we're going about advertising that?
that won't be me.
That is listed with a realtor.
Okay, only one realtor or?
Well, they do
Business?
multi-listing, right.
Okay.
But it's listed as a commercial office space, not specific for realty, it can be open to.
Okay, and how long has that been open for rental?
Well, the board signed it recently, the agreement with the listing agreement, so it probably hasn't been up long.
Okay. And Frankie, it's been brought to my attention, there was a machinery purchased a couple of years ago called the Dragon. Is that being utilized at all?
Yeah, the Dragon was purchased almost 10 years ago.
Okay, is that being utilized?
When it needs to be going out, yes.
Can we use that to fill potholes?
Yes, that's the purpose of it.
So is that being used then for filling the potholes currently?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not this year yet, but yeah, it used to be.
So when will we start filling in the potholes?
At the basis, when we get a list, then the guys will get the list and they'll start filling them up.
And who gives you the list of potholes that have to be
When
filled?
people call in.
Okay, so regarding the calling, I know we have to call in a lot, and I hear a lot of people do call in, and sometimes there's no, this is just directed at everyone. There's no feedback. How do we get a feedback from a call when we call into service and speak to either Shirley or Melissa, and we call regarding an issue? How do we know then that someone has gone out to look at it, check it out, and if nothing has to be done, nothing has to be done, or if it's an issue, it's going to be fixed? How does the caller know? Like, just for example, I started walking around a lot of the village, and I did call today regarding issues where I think with these sprinklers, there's puddles everywhere. There's one area up near the entrance from 70, the first entrance, without the guard at the gatehouse. The water on either side of the lawn is saturated, day after day after day. So how do I know, even though I made that call, that someone then, in fact, did look at it to investigate to see if that was an issue or not?
So when you call Shirley, they'll put a ticket for the irrigation guys,
Right.
and they'll go out there and fix it.
But how do I know that they did go out to check it?
You can check the system or you can.
Oh, okay, so it will be, okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just,
I just have one question. I have one question. About 2 hours ago, I got a call that the parking lot at Buckingham Hall, the parking lot was going to be closed,
Yes.
and that the cars were going to be towed away. Not everybody gets that one call, and it didn't say which side of the parking, which parking lot.
it's the side with the pool side,
The Grove side.
the pool side that's going to be,
They didn't specifically tell us that.
Well, usually the Buckingham side is that side, the administration side would be the other side.
Frankie's talking. It's just that one section there, you're going to reline all the
Yeah, but
parking
they said if
spots.
you don't move your car, they're gonna throw it away at your expense. Now,
I don't think I should have been in
they were
there.
not specific on which side that was going to be closed. And not everybody gets that one call. They should, but they don't. So I think it should be some out of the way, you gotta tell them. Okay?
All right, thank you.
I just thought I'd bring it to your attention.
Any more questions for Frankie? Thank you, Frankie.
At Wilson 545 in Sheffield.
Frank, you said, we were talking before, and you said that there were GPSs in the trucks, and you know where the guys are?
Correct.
Okay, just one question. I'm up on Sheffield. For the last why do the trucks take a ride up to Sheffield, go around the cul-de-sac, come down, and stop?
What vehicle?
But it's not one, it's more than one. But the thing is, they're not doing a job. They're just driving up and driving down. And then they come back up.
The vehicles have numbers.
They're not, but I'll let you know, but they're not stopping to do a job. That's what I'm telling you. So you know where they're supposed to be. They come up, they ride up, and then they ride down. And they're not stopping to do anybody's house.
But if you let me know what vehicle is, I'm in charge of my guys, Wes is in charge of his guys, Mike's in charge of his guys.
Okay.
So if you let me know, hey, van number XYZ, then I'm like, okay.
Okay, so they're supposed to be where they are with the GPS. They're not looking for debris. They're looking for debris. They're not picking it up. They're not stopping. They're just going and driving. Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Frank here, I don't remember.
What do you
My address is 599 Lake Point Drive. They turned the sprinklers on, so I always go at night to see what's happening. The one in front of my bay window is hitting the bay window, which has never been done in the 19 years, so it's gotta be, whatever you gotta do to make it not hit the wood on the window.
I set it up that way to wake you up.
I know.
I'll let them know. This is only you.
I think, is that Matt, the guy, who's the guy who does that?
That area will be,
Oh, there's a nice.
Manny.
Yeah, he's a good guy, thank you. I don't know, the lowest also at 256B. I don't know if you handle this or somebody else. I made a suggestion some time ago, because you're complaining that when people move out, they've done this, they've done that, they've done the next. And I said, you should be able to go in and check the units, and the then presidents that you have water. I have been able to get a permit to redo the kitchen cabinets. That was 7 years ago. For 7 years, every day, there's another construction person there. She's doing the whole place. But if you can't do it now, then on your new permits, but we will check within 30 or 60 days. But let's make sense. She said she's gonna have the whole place, so the next person that buys can end up with, in fact, every unit there is being redone illegally, with extra rules being put in. I'm not going into it.
Well, you give us addresses so we
I
can.
did. That's what I'm saying, I'm not going into it.
My name is Larry White. I live at 417B. This is a question for Frankie. Frankie, right outside this area here in Dorchester, the time clock goes on at 5 o'clock at night, and it stays on. I reported to two of us here, reported it to John. They said, at these shows, does not want to spend any money, and nothing we can do. All we have to do is just turn it on and off. Do I have to talk to Shirley?
I'll check out.
Okay, thank you.
Put it here, so I'll check
I
out.
appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Thank you, Frankie. Next up is West Tanner. Grounds.
Good evening, everyone. The district crews of the grounds department have begun with our grass cutting season. For those that may be new to the community, we typically cut the grass on a bi-weekly basis. And those weeks that we're not cutting grass, we're either edging the sidewalks, gutter cleaning, trimming the common areas, and or other ticketed work orders that come in. Gutter cleaning I have scheduled for the week of Memorial Day, so the day after Memorial Day, that's when we typically do the gutter cleaning that week, and then again during the leaf cleaning season. This does not mean we won't come back and clean your gutter if needed, but way to have the main cleaning of the gutters done on that specified week. Our irrigation techs are working throughout the community with repairs as well as any new installs of the rain sensors. Please call if you do have an issue in your area, and we will take care of the problem as soon as possible. As far as the farm club, we did contact anyway. They should be there this week. I'm guessing either tomorrow or Wednesday, but before the end of the week, we should have that irrigation on the farm. Our head gardener has been working with the landscapes, with the common areas, finishing up the landscape areas and planting our flowers. He also started to pull the trees out of the lakes on today in Lake Point area, and he'll be working on that for this week. As you may or may not know, we are currently advertising for the new tree tech for our in-house program. We are working with the tree contractors to meet major needs throughout the community as well. When it comes to the trees here in the village, there is a lot of work, and we are doing our best to meet those needs. So we appreciate your patience. Lastly, the debris pickup. It is on Friday. In case that it rains during the week, that will keep us from cutting lawns or whatever the case may be in that area. We will be cutting grass on Friday, so just let us know if there is any issues with the debris picked up this miss. We do have a lot of shortage in our department right now, working and getting you guys to come in, and we do have a couple machine operated jobs that's posted, and we're waiting for that to happen as well. Any soil and seeding that needs to be done, we typically do the seeding here in the fall. I would like to do some in the spring as well, but this winter we got behind with the spring cleanup. We pretty much was on spring cleanup all the way till we started cutting the grass. So that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Any questions for Wes?
John Young, 269D. Wes, at the last meeting, I brought it to everyone's attention that there's an issue on Kingston Court where the circle is. There's a bench there for the bus stop. But there's somebody, and I haven't seen who it is, because they asked me if I knew who it was. Obviously I don't. But I've been looking, and I see one person all the time walking around 5 or 6 times a day smoking. And there are, at the time that I brought it to your attention the last time, there were 200 or 300 cigarette butts in that area of the bench. And I asked if someone could specifically sweep them up. They blew them all into the circle, which is all grass. So now that's all in there. Last week, I was out there, and it's a whole fresh set of cigarette butts. And I saw one of the trucks riding around, and I asked them to stop. And they got out, and they had rakes. They raked up as best as they could. They couldn't believe the amount of cigarette butts there. And then today, they did lawns and blew whatever accumulated since last week, blew that back onto the circle. I have some on my front lawn, and it's just getting worse instead of better. Blowing isn't the answer. They need to be swept up and taken away. So if somebody could follow up on that, I would appreciate it. If you could put a camera somewhere that would show the bench, we would see part of where it is. And I do think that it is only one person. But again, I don't know that to be true. Also, in the same circle there, during the 2 big snowstorms that we had, the plow pushed into there. Nobody's been around to look at that or, okay, you can fix it soon? Okay. Because that's really dug up and it's a beautiful spot, and it's just getting trashed. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just 2 quick questions. I don't know the name of the evergreen, but the ones that are very narrow and they are very, very tall. I heard that we had a ban on those in the village. There was one on my court, and with the last snowstorm, we just went. Finally, you gotta know what take out, but are we prohibiting those type of things? Because another neighbor just put in 4 of them.
I don't think so. I don't think that's prohibited.
Put in anything you want?
You're just around the patio, you can't have them around your patio.
No, I'm talking about anywhere in the village. This person had it in a 3-foot area, it gets as tall as the roof, and then it starts to go like this into the street. Another neighbor put 4 of them on the side of the house.
I believe you just have them, you can't have them around your patio, because they grow too high and people don't.
I understand that, but is there a ban on them all? Where I'm talking, not around patios. They're just out there. Okay. And when you first came here,
In front of windows, you can't have them in front of windows.
no, not talking about that. When you first came here, I introduced myself. I said, where are we getting our small flowering plants? And I was told that we send a truck to Pennsylvania to buy the little thing because they're cheaper. I said, did all the greenery, all the hothouses in Jersey suddenly die? We're sending a truck to Pennsylvania? Well, they're cheaper. No. Where are we getting the small flowering things now?
So we're from Pennsylvania, but we don't send a truck to go get it, and they are actually cheaper.
How do they get here?
They got it delivered.
Okay.
Yeah, but they are cheaper, like $2.50
But
cheaper.
they're very small. I'm talking about sizable plants that show something.
It's expensive.
I know.
It's
but
very expensive.
We have 3 or 4 greenhouses right in the area. You got Tip Top, you got Maple Farms, you got a lot of them.
Yeah, you have
So we're still buying them from Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hopefully that's a little bit cheaper with the gas prices.
We gotta look into all that.
Anne Marie 353D. Hi, Wes. Just a question. Again, like I said before, I've been walking around the village a lot lately. And it's been brought up at other meetings. When your men are weed whacking and things like that, and they come across, or any of the workers, empty liquor bottles, whether they're the little ones or big ones, can they be instructed to pick them up, maybe carry like a bag with them or something? Because I'll tell you, walking around with a company is a huge embarrassment. And I saw a bottle, which I was able to pick up on the car leaving. And actually, I'm guilty of it because I passed it 3 or 4 times over the course of 2 days. A big bottle in front of Lake Alpine. And I know employees are going up and down, not continuously, but multiple times a day. Can they be alerted, any of the people, to pick up this bottle debris that's either in the grass or in the streets?
Yes, we do talk about it. I just, it's just.
Can you implement it?
It's something we talk about, and when the guys are working, it's kind of difficult just to pick up every few feet and try to get things done at the same time.
Well, hopefully it's not every few feet, to be honest with you.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is, especially in the farm area over here on the hedgerow. It's garbage all over.
Okay, there's something then the board we have to do about that. If we know for a fact that empty bottles are there, and the workers are passing it day after day, but they can't pick it up, something needs to be done. Also, and I apologize, I don't know if it's in the magazine or not, is there a schedule printed for when the sprinklers go off, like the times of the day?
You have a schedule. You let me know your area.
I just want to know, because this way, walking around with people, because I did have a geyser on a weekend, and I called, and it was taken care of on Monday morning. But a lot of people are asleep, so, the night owls, whatever, are walking, like, they'll know what areas to check. If there are geysers, because there could be geysers with all that wasted water that no one is aware of, because the sprinkler is going off at 11, p.m., midnight. And it's just going to happen time after time after time. So if we can print in the magazine a sprinkler schedule for the different areas, I think that would be very helpful. Okay. And I'm sorry, I think this is probably Frankie. I'm sorry, I hope I can answer really quick. I bring this up every meeting, and I know Judy is going to get, hopefully, the electric bills that we've been paying all year in all of our buildings, because it's so expensive. Have your men been, or you've been spoken to for the guys who work these buildings, Dorchester, Buckingham, the Taj and Balls, they call it, where you guys are based out of the administration building, that to turn down the thermostats like in the winter, not all the way, because they shouldn't be left at 74, 75, especially when they're not used, there's no piping. And likewise, in the summertime now, that they could put it up, so the air is not continually blowing, because we're paying all these electric bills, and electric bills are extremely expensive. So I would like to know that the people who are in charge of each of these buildings, that it is to be monitored in our best interest. Every single individual room with all the thermostats has a timer? Oh, the top, okay. What about all the other buildings? Is that a fact? Is that? Okay, because I don't know, because I've been here time again and checking into the 70s. Right, but after then, the people are gone. Are they going around and turning it depending on the heat?
10 o'clock at night, everything goes down, 7 o'clock in the morning, you want to go home.
Okay, and Judy, you're going to publish those bills since I still haven't seen them yet, but we discussed at the last meeting.
I've been ill, so I really haven't had time to do it. It's on my list.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Because again, it's probably thousands of dollars that we're paying for each of these buildings. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wes, last year, every time they mowed, they damaged headlights, and some of them were utterly obliterated. Is there something you could talk about with your guys to please try to be mindful of the fact that we pay for every one of those that they destroy, and every time they mow, which is not all that often, it seems, but every time they mow, they damage the cast lights. It seems so obvious to me. And it seems disrespectful.
It is talked about, and Frank definitely does.
Well, talk. Are there repercussions?
Actually, there are repercussions to those that know better. There's some guys that got that training, right? And you know better. But there is times that I have more guy who's still learning and still trying to maneuver. So I do write people up for different things that happen throughout my department. So yes, it is right up.
And Laura 39J Cambridge. This is really just a question. Does the town of Lakewood have an arborist? Because maybe we could check and they could come look at our trees, because we do pay taxes and it might help you guys. Might be something we look into and ask them to come and check our trees. That's all.
Thank you.
My name is Larry White, I live at 417B, Chatham Court. Got a question for Wes. Right by the barbecue pit in Buckingham, there's a spruce tree right over by the propane tank. The tree is leaning, and as it gets older, the weight and roots don't go down in the ground really deep. If that tree, over time, hits that propane tank, at the exact moment, there's going to be an explosion and does a lot of damage. Okay, could you pull it back, make sure it goes vertically?
I can't put that back, sorry.
Okay, so we gotta cut down that tree.
Yeah, we gotta cut down that.
Okay.
I know about it. I think contracted about it already.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions?
Also, can I say something quick? As far as the irrigation, I do want to make mention, there's only 2 guys that take care of this whole community, and also when we're cutting the grass, sometimes the machines do damage the sprinklers. So it is important, if you do see something while you're walking throughout the night, just let me know. As I've said in my notes, please just let us know, we'll take care of it. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Wes. Michael Lee. Shop manager.
Good evening. Down at the shop, the lawn equipment is up and running. We service them all. We are doing spring maintenance on the trucks, and the winter equipment leftovers that get left behind after spring hits. Then after that, we'll be checking over the leaf equipment for the fall and watering parts we need. And I'm getting together to do the road equipment. That means for the repair of the roads. We have some holes and cracks and things, so we're doing that too. Making arrangements. Any questions?
No questions for Mike? Thank you, Mike. John Lynch, quality of life.
Hello, everyone. I would like to start, I'd like to just let everyone know again that mulch in the 3-foot area is not permitted in Legion Village. Wanted to remind everyone of that.
John, can you speak into the mic, please?
Oh, sorry. I think I just turned it off. Since the last quarterly meeting, compliance has received approximately 60 new permits for home renovations or landscaping or updating the heating and AC units. Approximately 80 permits have been completed, and there are approximately 120 permits still open but not completed. Also, just wanted to remind everyone, if you're doing any kind of work around your home or in the home, you need to get a Leisure Village permit. Heat and AC replacement also needs a Lakewood Township permit. Also, window AC units are not permitted either. We did get a lot of rain. We did not get a lot of rain this April, so I'll be starting overgrowth here in Leisure Village. I will be starting over by Gate 2 on Huntington. While doing this, I will be looking for the mulch in the 3-foot area. Anyone who has patio furniture on the common ground, patio furniture belongs on the patio. If any new residents in here today, if you want a gas grill, you will also need a permit for that also. It has to be placed on a 4x4 paper pad at least 8 feet away from the building. And a quick note, the traffic hawk is still out doing his thing there in the village. Less and less residents are getting violations. February 22nd snowstorm was one of the largest storms for my time being here in Leisure Village. For one of the largest storms, it had the smallest violations for only 17 cars being towed and 20 residents receiving a $250 fine for not removing their vehicle from the street of the driveway. That's all.
Any questions for John?
Hi, John. Listen, I know you have a lot of work, okay, by yourself. I just wanted to know, why was the Quality of Life Committee dismantled? Help us.
I don't know.
John can't answer that.
I didn't.
Who? John cannot answer that question. That was a board decision.
Because how is he going to do all this work without help? He needs help.
He's going to be getting help.
He's going to be getting help? From who? Was it a secret?
We'll let you know it's coming up. We have to talk about it, but amongst board members, so we can't discuss it now.
Oh, is there any reason why you let the helpers out? They were doing a good job. It's a secret.
Help us for what? Quality of life?
Helping John, yeah, the Quality of Life was committed. They were helping John. Roger, and yeah.
I don't want to discuss it in front of other people here. Should not be discussing that. Because it's something, it's a personal thing. I mean, people should not know, but it's between the board and Roger. So I think we should stop right there. You know, it's a personal thing, and we will discuss it down the road. But right now, we can't discuss it.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sue Farrow. I live at 422A, and I don't have any complaints. But I do have shooting buggers. Anyway, just a plea to the community. I see a lot of people walking their dogs, and they have more interest in their phones than they do with what their dogs are doing. And linked to that, the dogs are pooping everywhere and nobody's picking them up. So that's number one. Number two, e-bikes. E-bikes are coming out of the woodwork. And a couple of times, again, I've been walking and they've been flying down the walkways. And I believe that they should be restricted to the blacktop, to the main roads. So this is a plea to the e-bike community. Please don't run me over. And the last thing, I won't break into a song, honest, but wouldn't it be lovely if we could be more civil to each other and have a little bit more respect for each other and a little bit more respect for ourselves and a little bit more patience and understanding. The end. Thank you very much.
Thank you. John Deere 1713C. How do I follow that? I know. Okay, John, first of all, congratulations on this new job title. But, why quality of life? But, it says right here. It says right there. John Linster, quality of life. When Tom introduced him, it was misprint. When John introduced him, he said quality of life. So I just wanted to know, are you the compliance officer or the quality of life person? He's a compliance officer. So you're not quality of life? Okay, there you go. I'm sorry. Okay, I just wasn't sure. Only because I know the situation of why Roger was removed, and I was concerned because John's name played a part in that, and I just wanted to make sure, so thank you very much.
With 256B, I have something to say about what you just said. There is no committee. I've been here for 25 years, I'm probably the oldest person in the village. But anyway, we had 3 covenant committees, and we went from house to house to house, and every single house was listed, shrubs too tall, window, box, whatever. Several people who live in the village went to the people on the board, and we were disconnected, we were stopped. They stopped. That sounds like what you're doing with this school too, with quality of life. In other words, we did our job, and sorry, we don't need your committee anymore.
Well, we didn't say we're stopping the committee. It's a personal thing happened, and it's none of anybody's business. What happened is personal. So why can't that just stop?
Yeah. But you print a magazine every month. You must get a permit to park. Overnight parking.
What does that do with quality of life?
I'm just going, well, because he's the one who would give me a ticket if my daughter was parked with
No, it's not. No, he's not. Quality of life has nothing to do with giving you a ticket.
Okay, I'm just saying, okay, you're being compliant is what all I'm saying is, you never come around and check that. He's saying how good the parking was during the storm, and my neighbor was parked on the lawn the whole entire storm. In other words, stop printing these things in your magazine because you're not going by it.
Question for me or for John?
Whoever.
I'm answering your question. The quality of life is not done for life. If we're going to have somebody, nobody has come up yet that's qualified for the job. So there will be a quality of life down the road. We're interviewing people now. So what do you want me to tell you? It will be happening. I'm not talking to her. I'm talking to her the way she's talking to me.
John Neal, 269D. As I mentioned before about the cigarette butts over on Kingston Court, John, being the compliance officer, I was wondering if you could put a camera out there.
Yes, on that circle, is it on the far end?
It's right, just, if you're sitting on the benches to the left of the bench, is where most of it is.
Where is the bench?
It's a bus stop bench, it says,
Out on Huntington, or is it in further at the circle?
it's on the circle.
Okay, is it the only one there? I'll see if I can find a tree or something close.
It's the only one there. I'm at 269, it's to the left of my house. And that's where the most of it is. But it runs down in front of 269D, which is my house sometimes. There's a couple there were 8 butts on my lawn this morning, and then going over to the seat, and then they're blown up onto the thing. So I know I was looking around and we put a camera, but that's what you were talking about. You can pay for it. Thank you.
Sharon Wagner, 684 Edinburgh Drive. John, I'm just wondering, I think a lot of people are fed up because the rules are enforced on some people and not all people. So that overflow lot across the street, you know, someone asked me to go over there and take pictures of the cars that were in violation. It was horrendous, the amount of cars that are sitting over there, not up to code, not supposed to be there. But yet we had a resident who I just found out on Thursday, she approached me at Bingo. She parked her car and went away on vacation not knowing a winter storm was coming. Got fined $250 because she was there when the snow fell. She was not there, she was away on vacation, but the person she went away with, their vehicle was in her driveway. She, I think, had an ADR and still got the $250 fine. This is a woman that volunteers her time here, does a lot for this community. She didn't get a pass, but meanwhile, right across the street, we take a walk over there right now. You see this truck over there with 2 flat tires that's been there for months, and she gets fined. And so I'm not understanding this because it's already now May, and I've almost been hit on the path along Lake Waddell twice by an e-biker. What exactly are you doing? Other than driving around my house multiple times a day, leaning on the horn in your truck to let me know that you're doing your job, but you're not, because you're not getting out of that truck. Yeah, he is harassing me, but that's okay. It's okay, I'm building a case for myself against him. Because by the time I get done with you, John, you're not going to have a job here anymore.
John, board will look into that situation with the 1B. I will talk to John.
Really?
Yes.
When?
This is the first time hearing about it. So,
Really?
yeah.
I don't think it's the first you're hearing of it.
You have never told me about him.
You know about it, though.
All right. Is that the question you have for John?
So that's a lie.
It's a lie. Never told me anything about it.
I didn't tell you. No, I didn't tell you. But you know about it.
I do not know about it.
Okay. I don't understand. I come to these meetings, I have a page where people complain, and I don't understand why. If you don't want to enforce the rule, then do away with it. But this nonsense of enforcing it on some people and not all people, my cul-de-sac, I'm an area rep for my cul-de-sac, for my area. We have a problem person over there. The police are there 3-4 times a day now. Okay? No one's doing anything. When I approach somebody about having an ADR against this resident, nobody can give me an answer if I can file an ADR.
If you don't get an ADR, come to me. You're entitled to an ADR if you have a problem with somebody in the building. You have the right to have an ADR. No, they can't tell you can't have an ADR. You have the right for an ADR.
Okay? All right. But what are we going to do about the e-bike situation? Because that's already out of hand.
I didn't hear about that.
I said, what are we going to do about the e-bike situation? Because that's already out of hand.
I told you about this. We were supposed to have a committee, and you were going to be on it. Every time I called you about it, you never answered. You never came.
You know why? You know why?
The guy
listen to me. That, the lady with that resolution meeting.
All right.
I stood at this night and I said that was going to be a problem.
3 minutes are up, we have other people in the
Excuse me, can I just say something in response to Sharon? We had talked about that as a board because e-bikes are becoming a problem, and I am an e-bike user. And my suggestion was, because the state was still trying to decide on what to do with it, wait until the state comes out with their new referendum, which they did. Now, if you're aware of that, they said that bicycles, e-bikes, there's 3 different categories, would have to be insured and registered with the state of New Jersey, okay? I called my insurance company. They go, we don't do that, I don't know. There might be a third party, here's their information. I called the insurance company for that. She goes, well, I know you're supposed to, but we really don't know how to do it. I said, well, if you register a car, you have to go to DMV, you have to have a title, then you can register it. So how do you do that with a bicycle? She goes, I don't know. I think I'm going to need your serial number and the make and the year and the model. So then I called DMV. They don't know how to deal with this yet. So the best we can do, the rules of the road for an e-bike, you're not supposed to be on the sidewalk. You're supposed to be on the road with the same driving traffic. You stay in the same side of traffic. You're never supposed to be on a divided highway, any road over 78 miles an hour, no state highways, that's already illegal. But it's very hard for you to try to police it in here.
Resolution. My suggestion was that there should be a placard on the back of the bike, like a license, with your unit number on it. So that when I saw you almost run me over, I could then call compliance and say, hey, that's you from 684A, almost ran me over.
And I understand that.
But no, it was never because the board passes these resolutions. That should have been tabled, it should have been discussed, it should have put in place, like everything. But you pass the resolution and then we'll deal with the problems up the road. And now we have a huge problem.
Let me listen again. The best thing was to wait till the state made a regulation and follow through.
Is that going to pertain to us since we don't have Title 39 in here?
But they still have to have it. So it would be easier to have the state say, here's your registration, here's your plate.
But I don't understand that, because if we don't have Title 39 and people are driving on the road in here, how can we enforce that?
We have to get a committee, and I thought you were going to get involved with it, because you said you wanted to get involved.
I don't want to get involved.
I know, now you don't want to get involved. We want everybody to do all this work.
I did enough work, trust me.
Let's move on. Please, Kingman, person forward, please. Can you bring the mic up to you?
And votes. Okay. Why is the issue with cigarette butts? Well, we can put outside ashtrays at these places where they're smoking. You have them here at the buildings, you can put them by the benches, you can put them by the bus stops, you can put them in places where you see these butts on the ground all the time. It's not that expensive to buy a bucket, drive around and put a bucket. You're saying these guys have to be up butts, you're going to put a butt spot right there. It's not that expensive. You can find it on the bill for Home Depot, what you see in it. You know, it's, you know.
Okay, he's my husband. So Esposito, 378A, Jackson. I'm just wondering, I have a quick question. Do you have a community watch in this village?
Yes, it's a neighborhood watch.
Okay, maybe that would help cross some of these things off your list, like barbecues in the wrong place, because he's a fireman. And we see a lot of barbecues like right under hanging trees and too close to buildings. And then someone also said, someone else said about gates being open, maybe to give like a point, a checkpoint to the people who are doing the community watch, that might be useful.
The neighborhood watch, they ride around at night, they're volunteers. And they just drive around to make sure as an extra set of eyes, just to make sure nothing crazy is going on. If they see something, they say something.
Okay.
They don't go around doing violations for grills, parking, or
Does
anything.
someone look at them?
I agree.
Okay, great. That's all I was.
One person is 2,476.
I know, my husband said it's like this village is the size of a small town. I understand, it's a lot. Also, Phyllis, don't forget me, because I wanted to do a bench donation. Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, I just want to give a little history. We used to have something called the Covenants Committee. The Covenants Committee was made up of volunteers, and each volunteer had an area of the village which they identified, and they went around identifying problems regarding people who were not in compliance with the covenants of the village. It got really complicated, but I think something like that might be something that could help. I know, Lois was on it, and Debbie, and Kathy Dory was the liaison from the board, if I'm not mistaken. And these people were dedicated, and it wasn't a big deal. You would ride around, and if you saw trees too high, or you saw, in this instance, a grill too close to the house, we would report it. We didn't have a compliance officer. So in this instance, we could report all this to John and ask him for feedback. So we could help him, give him time to do the really gnarly stuff, and we could just identify the lesser covenant grievances.
Maria 353D, just a question regarding the overflow parking, particularly on Dorchester that was brought up. Is there a time limit of how long the cars can be parked there and not moved?
Well, the rule is it can't be 10 days, it has to move to a different spot, but it can still stay in Dorchester Park.
Okay.
So after 10 days, they move from one spot right to the spot next to it. But it can stay in Dorchester Park.
Okay. So to Sharon's point before, I know we've addressed at other meetings. So if we're noticing cars that aren't moving, we report them through.
You can call me.
Just call you directly?
Yes.
Okay, because there's a red truck, that's a vintage red truck that's been there for months on end.
The vintage red truck, he moves.
He just moves it from one spot to the other, and that's all that.
That's all we get.
Okay, thank you. Even if it's not used?
Even if it's not
It could be used as just an indefinite parking lot?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's a quick question. Well, statement. We do have the documents review committee still intact, right?
Yes.
We have 2 retired attorneys. Well, we haven't been getting anything for months. I know you do things, resolutions, you give it to the attorney, hold on the money. I have 2 attorneys and myself on the documents review. My thought is they ought to be coming to us first before you even consider setting anything to an attorney at, what, $400 an hour?
Well, one of the attorneys aren't there anymore, so.
What?
Garrett is not.
It's not what?
He's not on the committee anymore, so.
I never heard that. I'm the chairperson. I never heard he's not on the committee. What?
So you and Harvey will discuss it, because he's the chairperson, you're the
I don't
chairperson.
have anything to do with it. I'm just saying I'm the chairperson. All right, well, as far as I know, there's still 2 attorneys. My other issue is, I know what John does, because I've been playing with John, I picked on John, I supported John. There's a lot of cars in here that did not pass inspection. If you go to the parking lot in 2014, I know when you go for inspection, when they fail, you have 30 days to get it together. Well, they don't. We've got somebody's Jeep, it was a former trustee, his son was in Iraq or somewhere, they thought they could park the car here. My question is very pointed. If I go to John and I say, look at this, Does John have the authority to tow the cars out? I heard he doesn't, he's got to go to Tom Claus first. I don't think that's reasonable. If the car is in violation, does he have the authority?
I have a process I have to go through.
And the process is?
The violation on the windshield, and then a week later, if it's still there, another violation with the tow date. If it's still there the following week, then it gets towed.
Okay, but you have the authority to do this. You don't have to run back to Tom and say.
On that, if you want a car towed because you don't like where it's parked.
No.
No, I can't do that.
It's got flat tires, it doesn't pass inspection, that white van is all the way up there, it's been sitting there for years, all full of crap. Does he have the authority to tow the vehicle out?
Goes to the steps, he has the authority.
Okay, he doesn't have to go to Tom?
No, he has the authority to go through the steps, and people warn that this car is going to be towed. After the third step, that car gets towed.
He just doesn't? Okay, you all know that, all right? You don't have to go through Tom with this. Hit it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Supervisor can go home now. Thank you very much.
You hear me now? Good. About putting an air conditioner in the window. There, I forget the name of the units that have them in.
The ones that have the ones in the wall, they're allowed.
Okay, but if you get a licensed person, get a permit, do everything right, I mean, this is 2026, why can't we have it put in the wall? Because the bylaw says we can't, right?
Certain units you can have in the wall.
I know, but why can't you change it to modernize? If it costs $8,000 to $12,000 for a unit, you know, you could get one that you can put in the wall, at least I could sleep in the bedroom and not drop dead. What's the reasoning that why you don't update stuff?
They do sell portable.
That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. Why are you not changing it?
That's something in the bylaw.
It's in the bylaws, but don't you update bylaws? That's from 1904. You know, it's fine now. You're getting it legal, you're getting the permit.
Trying to get the answer.
Okay, here.
So it's mostly cosmetic. They don't want it to look like that. With air conditioning hanging out of your wall.
But we already have air conditioning.
Out of the window.
I didn't say the window, I said the wall, which we have ones that are outside the wall. Yeah, they have to break, but if you're paying a person that's his livelihood and you're getting a permit and da-da-da-da.
So if you have a unit that has central air conditioning?
Yes.
And it needs to be updated, you have to restore what's there presently.
Yeah.
If you have a unit with a sleeve unit through wall, you can replace that same.
So we can't do anything, you're not gonna change the bylaws because it's gonna protect somebody that is in the wall. Okay?
Thank you. Okay, you can go home now, Supervisor. Thank you very much. Next thing on the agenda is committee report. Now, committee report. Okay, Judy, would like to say a couple words?
I'd just like to remind everybody that once a month we do have our neighborhood representatives meeting in Buckingham Hall at 10 o'clock. A lot of these problems, and I'm not saying they're not significant, but a lot of these problems, if you could come to those meetings, you're going to get a quicker response. So we've talked about having them at night, we haven't come to a conclusion. But just remember the neighborhood reps is a good place to come and bring your complaints.
And
Thank
the
you.
second Tuesday of the month, we have safety and security. You can ask the same questions there. So you don't have to wait for 3 months. All right, next, the treasurer's report. You can say the mic, Judy.
Okay. As of this morning, in our Ameriprise reserve accounts, we have $3,257,103.70. I'm going to go back into April. As Gina said, that we're funding the reserve account. In April, we transferred into the reserve account $331,572.12. In April, we also wrote checks for $248,572.87, and the majority of that was for roof masters. And just to show you that at the end of the month, in delinquencies, from 0 to 30, we had 173, 31 to 60 was 28, and 61 plus was 111. Now that we're in May, those numbers have jumped up. And I'll just read them to you. From 0 to 30, although they're not delinquent at this time, it's 1,632. 31 to 60 is 133, and 61 plus is 130. And of the 130, there's about 40 accounts with our attorneys. Thank you.
Any questions for Judy?
Jerry Roselle, 549B. I just am curious about the EV chargers. That was through a grant. Have you been given that, not reimbursed for that? The cost of the EV chargers?
Are you looking for the total cost?
No, well, when you were getting them done, it was grant money, you were going to get reimbursed.
Right, we received, we received a check from DPU for a little over $13,000.
When that was covered the cost of them?
No, we were still waiting for a check from JCP&L.
Okay, and that will cover the balance of the cost of the EV chargers?
Once we receive it through, because they're using a third party called Honeywell.
Yes, so when are you anticipating that you'll get reimbursed for that?
Right.
When?
I don't have that as of right now. I'm working with
It was a bit while, I'm just curious.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions for Judy? Thank you, Judy. You have a question?
Since I was on the board, we had people who would go behind in their maintenance, and they send a letter and say, gee, I'd like to try and catch up, and give me an extra $5 a month. No. I'd like to know what specifically are we doing to curtail the people that are not paying or in arrears? I don't think
Judy can answer you on that.
what are you specific? I want to hear some numbers going up and up. I don't want to pay my maintenance. I don't want to pay yours and his.
The numbers are not going up, they're going
I
down.
thought you said they're going up.
Well, that was the beginning of the month.
Okay.
I read you the numbers at the end of April.
Okay.
There was 312 delinquent accounts all total. Since I took over as treasurer, we have a system in place. You get a late letter after 15 days. 30 days after that, you get a first delinquency letter that says that your amenities, you're coming into the buildings and the pools, we're going to be restricted.
So cut off, not restricted.
Cut off.
Okay.
Main gate, cut off.
Okay.
30 days after that, you get a second delinquent letter, which again says the same thing, that after 30 days it will go to the attorney, and then it goes to the attorney.
And then what happens?
The attorney writes a collection letter and goes on with the process.
And the process is what before we get our money.
So once it comes to our office, we send the collection letter. We're required by law to wait 30 days after that collection letter.
So once the letter's from the village, now we got a letter from you.
Right. Once that letter is, the 30 days has lapsed, and we don't receive a dispute of the debt or payment plan or full payment, we file a lien right away on the unit. We file a lien right away on the unit, and we make a decision as to whether it makes sense for the association to pursue a money judgment complaint against the owner. If the owner has passed away and there's no assets, probably doesn't make sense to file a lawsuit, right, get a judgment against something that's not recoverable. But we make that determination as to whether it's prudent to go after. Regardless, after the lien is recorded, we give notice to a lender if one exists. and we serve them with that lien to let them know that, hey, your mortgagor is in default of your mortgage, right? And then we wait to see if there's a response from the lender. Sometimes there is, they'll actually pay it off and add it to their balance.
So the letters that you're sending out, are they all set certified?
Yes, they're all set out.
Not just sending a stamp on and hoping somebody's going to answer.
No, they're sent out certified because we need to show proof of that, obviously. So if they're signed or at least it has been returned. Technically, regular mail is good service, but we do certified.
So realistically, I fall behind, how long is it going to take before we're being told? Generally speaking, not if the person's dead. There's one up on Dorchester, they're not paying anything. How long before we're being told?
So if we go through the entire process, we'll say to foreclosure, if that's the route the association goes and no one responds and goes to foreclosure, it could probably be like 1.5 years to 2 years.
Okay.
Because there's all kinds of notices and foreclosures are court, right?
So after we go through the whole thing, how much does your law firm get? For the whole process? From the first letter you send out to the end of...
So if the association, so all of my firm's legal fees get added to that owner's ledger. So in order for the association to be made whole, that includes getting paid on the attorney's fees that the association pays out.
How much does the firm tack on? I hear what you're saying. How much are you, the firm, getting out of this when we go for foreclosure?
I can't give you an answer to that because it all depends on if it's disputed, how many court appearances there are. One of these we had 10 errors we had to notify, and it was the mailing. It wasn't even the attorney's fees. We operate off of a fee schedule, so most of what we do is not hourly. Right, so the collection letter, I think, I haven't raised associations. So I think it's $75 for a collection letter. It's like $125 for a lien. I think it's $600 to file a lawsuit. So we don't do any contingency. We don't operate that way. Everything is flat, unless we have to record, unless there's something unusual, then that would be billed hourly. I raise $100 an hour, and everything gets billed back to the delinquent owner. Ocean County Chancery.
Okay, all right.
Judy, excuse me. Tom, could I ask Judy if she would explain if somebody wants to make a payment plan? I think that's important. Judy put a very good program into place.
Well, if at any time when they get a letter from the village and they'd like to call and make up a payment plan, they give us the payment plan that they would like to do. It goes through the board, we decide yes or no. If it's accepted, they have paperwork that they have to fill out, and we monitor every month if the payment has been made. And again, if it's at the attorney's and they want to do a payment plan, it's basically the same process.
And I will say a lot of what we do is assist the owners in payment plan, engaging payment plans. That's when the board decides on the payment plan. But I would say most of the accounts that go into our office get onto some kind of a payment plan.
And the payments have to be made in 12 months.
Thank you.
Judy, I sent you an email. Did you have the answers to the questions that I asked you? I sent you an email, and I also put a copy of the email into your box on Thursday, April 30th.
I have not been to the office in the last few days, and I'm going to give them a meeting, and I will get your questions tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Okay.
Are there questions I can answer now, or?
No, I don't think so, because you have to give me some figures. That's why I sent you an email, and I also put a copy of the email into your box. So you would say, if you get the email, you got the copy of the letter. Okay, this is into a lot of figures, about the $2 million loan, and the garbage, it's money-wise. So you will get the answers to me? Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Hi, Brady Barrett from 295A. That's my first question, Judy. What exactly is the definition of your reserve fund here? What is the definition of your reserve fund here? That would be nice.
It is money that is put aside regularly to do capital improvements, to buy fixed assets, and to do deferred maintenance.
See, that's funny, because the courses that Tom took actually had a reserve fund consists of the saved money allocated for the cost of major repairs and replacements in the future.
Capital replacement.
In the future. Then why is it short?
How is it short? We have $3 million.
Yeah, you said that put money.
We put money in every month. We have to fund it.
So it's not touched and used only for the future problems.
The future is roads. Do you want roads to be fixed this year?
And
That's the future.
you're supposed to have a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. But I don't see this in any of the budgets.
So if you go online, the reserve study is there in Avfolio. The reserve contributions are based.
Computer, sorry.
The reserve contributions that are done on a monthly basis are based upon the annual budget and based upon the recommendations in that reserve study that was put together by the engineering firm. Actually, I'm going to touch base on the reserve study a little bit in my report once we get to it.
And that's printed out for us? We're going to go to hoops.
No, it's readily available.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any more questions for Judy? Thank you, Judy. Village managers report.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, just a few updates for you. So we're working on compiling the list for concrete replacement for this year. Is there any work outside of the road improvement program, whether it be curbs or sidewalks? So we have the RFP updated. Once the list is fully compiled, we'll be using that list to collect bids for that project. You heard Frank mention we're getting the poles ready. Buckingham is running, Dorchester should be running this week, I think it's all the way filled. And the service department has been preparing the furniture and whatnot around the pool areas. Roof replacement program is moving forward. You also heard Frank report a little bit on that. Road improvements for this year, I'm working with FWH. The engineering firm has been out inspecting the areas in Sheffield, Chatham North and South End, 405 area. They've documented and photographed a lot of issues in these areas, whether it be curves, inlets, and sidewalks, adding access ramps to these various areas as well. So I have to go through each and every one of them to take a look at them to see what is going to be included in this program for this year, all of which is over 900 photos that we have to look at. So I'm going to work as quickly as possible to get through all that documentation and so we can get this project out for bid and moving forward. Just to reiterate some of the message that you heard Phyllis mention in regards to insurance. Yes, we have experienced quite a few small water claims over the past several months, and it could be anywhere from someone doing renovations or a hot water heater going, washing machine hoses. It's very important that you update the washing machine hoses every so often, preferably using the braided hoses, the stainless braided hoses, as opposed to the rubber ones. Hot water heaters, you want to update those every so often. A good rule of thumb is 10 to 12 years. Some manufacturers say you can get 15 years out of a hot water heater. I think that's stretching it a bit. But you also want to make sure that you contact your carrier to make sure you have sufficient coverage for water claims, and the deductible, making sure that you can handle your carrier roll cover at $25,000, which the association's deductible is for various claims, particularly water. We're also working on updating the reserve study again. So we did that, we started in 2023, finalized in 24. But there has been certain changes. in lender requirements, particularly with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So they're requiring community associations to have updated reserve studies every 3 years. In the past, we have done it every 5 years. So right now, we're working with KipCon, who has performed our reserve study on every 5 years for quite some time. So we have a proposal from them that the board is looking into, and our current reserve study will come up on 3 years in February of next year. So we want to make sure we have everything in place, we have all the information available for the engineers so we can get that reserve study updated. And I think the attorney also wants to talk a little bit about those lending requirements.
Okay. Good evening. So to Tom's point, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac issued new regulations in the beginning of March that did some things to do with insurance as far as associations go, which kind of loosened some of the restrictions, but tightened the requirements for the association as far as what they fund to the reserves. It used to be, and this is again just to get Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac approved mortgages, which is like 70% of the mortgages in the market, so it's very important, obviously, when they say something. It increased the requirements for reserve contribution from 10% to 15%, which I don't think is an issue in this community, and most communities are already funding their reserves around 15 or more. It also provides language, which always, there's always something that we're still reviewing as an industry, but basically it says that baseline funding is no longer acceptable, and if the lender requests a copy of the reserve study, and that reserve study makes a recommendation for a particular funding plan, it has to be the highest funding plan in that reserve study. There was a lot of debate back and forth. I've spent hours debating this back and forth. We've met with Fannie Mae representatives who haven't been as forthcoming as we like about what that means. But regardless, I just want to kind of put it on everybody's radar that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, if you see the news about condo restrictions, it's true. It's going into effect in July, and it may modify what the reserve study looks like for your association, and we'll kind of keep you up to date there. I have this number, but I looked up the BPU number for the people that are wondering. The best I can come up with was utility complaints. Write this down. 1-800-624-0241 is a utility complaints number to the BPU. And there's also an electronic form there at www.nj.gov/BPU/assistance/complaints. See it again if anybody wants to. People are nodding. Okay. Yes. Phone number 800-624-0241. As far as our office of collections goes, in March, our office collected $19,849.51 in past due arrears. The Q1 calendar total is $45,479.51. Again, we discussed the collection process previously. I can go over again, but that's where we are in March. We don't have the May numbers yet. The April, I'll give you the April numbers in a minute. The Board of Public Utilities, so they kind of govern. As far as the lawsuit goes, with the association, obviously filed suit against the planning board, Broad State LLC in the township, regarding construction of duplexes. This is behind Buckingham at New Hampshire. They proposed 48 duplexes. The association objected at the planning board meeting. The planning board still approved it. The association filed suit arguing that that area was not zoned for 0 lot lines, that there had not been a letter of interpretation yet provided regarding the wetlands. Our office filed a summary judgment motion, which was heard last week. that judge denied our application and said it's going to go to trial because there's questions of fact that the judge will hear. Very common to deny the motions, but he denied the motion. So the trial date is July 24th. Where, again, it's not a jury trial. It's going to be before the judge. It's a bench trial. We're going to go through the issues, hear through the testimony, and decide one way or another. So at this point, we have a trial date, and the board will advise whether they want to move forward with that, whether they want to settle, resolve. And we'll obviously keep you posted as we have been regarding the status of litigation and how that's moving forward. Regardless, either way, they will have the right to reapply before the planning board with another plan. So the board knows that and needs to be able to ensure that it's protecting itself while knowing the realities, of where we are with construction in the industry. Everybody has seen the condos come up. It's not unusual to be driving down and see a new one almost every month, it feels like. There is, I didn't say it, there's a shortage, there's a housing crisis, housing shortage, especially in regards to affordable housing. There's mandates imposed on the towns. We've had a lot of lawsuits regarding those, so they are in place, and townships have to comply one way or another to ensure that they're meeting the regulations as well. That's all I have.
Do you have any questions for Tom or Greg?
Hi, Anne Marie, 3530. Tom, any update on the lakes like Tudor, Avon, and one behind Dorchester? They're like, there's no water coming into them at all. They're like huge puddles.
So, several weeks ago, we installed actually a water feature measuring on Lake Tudor dam structure. And since we installed that, it actually came up probably close to 4 inches, but in the past week, it's down an inch.
Right, I mean, if it rains, it will come up a little bit possibly, and it's all going to go down, so.
It's important that we get rain. We're still in a drought situation.
Well, we shouldn't just be dependent on the rain. We weren't in the past, so.
No, all these ponds up here are fed only by stormwater runoff. There's no stream inlet on these. Only the 3 lakes, Lake Bill, Lake Windsor, those upper lakes that we call them, northern lakes, they actually have a freshwater feed. They have a constant feed into them, so they maintain a lot better than the lakes up here.
Yeah, because I mean, it's becoming an eyesore. Especially for
there are options. Some communities that have these man-made lakes have installed pumps, actually, like a well. So you would have a flotation device which would measure the lake level, and it would trigger the pumps to come on in a situation where you had drought situations, and it would help to maintain those levels. It's something the engineer, myself, had spoke to the board about. So it's something that is plausible and possible to do in this community as well.
So what the engineer, what was his finding, the ultimate finding that, the last finding that he had? I know we were doing something with the pilings, resealing them, like how was that done?
So the joints on the culvert pipes were sealed using a grounding method. There were a few leaks on the actual structure itself. They were not significant leaks, but they were sealed as well. So if you go to the downstream side, you can actually see the water comes up to the ground. There's nothing you can do about that. That's seepage, that's groundwater that comes up. Historically, it has always done that. There's really no outflow from the lake other than what might be working through the soil and then downstream. But you have 4 lakes up here, and they're all in the same situation.
Are they something? Not, it's not art, I don't know if it's art issue or not, but something's drastically wrong the last 3 years since it's not even 3 years, been here. I mean, from almost overflowing the trees and everything being in the water to having literal beaches around where the water is now.
Right, and if you go, you can get this data from Rutgers website and other websites, but the precipitation has been extremely low in the past 3 years. So we're not out of the drought situation yet. And, people think that you have these major snowstorms. Well, the snow itself does not accumulate a lot.
Oh, right, okay. I'm just going to continue to follow up at the meetings from some questions that I've asked previous meetings. Has the board been able to maybe discuss from my last questions at the last meeting regarding our process ensuring the LLCs that are now buying properties to ensure that someone within that LLC is in fact living in that residence and they're not renting it out?
Well, that's all part of the registration process that we spoke about. So the LLC is put in place. The person listed on that LLC has to be registered occupant for that unit. Unless we have any reason to suspect otherwise, we're not going to go knocking on the door and harassing people. Everybody has the right to.
Okay, so to my point too regarding that, since we're kind of lax on it, because we here don't know who's buying and what the occupancy is going to be. So if an LLC purchases a property and they say there's only going to be one resident, how can you guys, I guess, because it's not us, we don't know, we don't have, we can't see that paperwork. How do we know then that only one resident is dwelling in that place as opposed to 3 or 4 or 5? How do we know that? Correct, so that's what I'm saying. A lot of LLCs are buying property here, right, and renting them out on the get-go, which is not correct. So how do we curtail that?
Well, LLCs cannot rent from the very.
I understand that, but I don't think that's a sure thing. I think some
It may
LLCs.
not be, but if it's brought to our attention, it definitely is.
But how can we bring this to your attention? We don't know. I don't know if, say, my neighbor, they put their house on sale, that an LLC purchased it. How do I know that? I don't. You know that.
Yeah.
But they know it up front. Why do I have to go and check tax records on neighbors? They know the paperwork up front.
So anyone that registers occupy that unit is going to want a barcode on their car, right? They're going to want their ID to get into the facility.
No, not necessarily, not at all. Not at all. They could get it to come so they could come and collect the rents.
Right, but that person occupying the unit is not going to want to be able to use any of the amenities, is what you're saying.
I'm not saying that at all.
Well, I mean.
Most people don't use the amenities here.
Unless the board approves publicizing everybody's information in the newspaper, and I don't know any other way that we would get that information to you.
I'm saying you don't have to get it to us. You already know it. So what kind of procedures can you put into place?
So are you asking the association to knock on LLC's doors and ask for IDs?
Right, we've been through this the last meeting.
Right, that's what I'm asking, trying to understand what policy you'd like the association to implement. Because we're saying, it sounds like they're saying that there's certain checks, right? If you want an amenity, if you want access to something, that's a check. If you are the person you say you were.
Right.
Outside of that, right, owners, you're asking for, what else are you asking for the board to come in and say, a random check-in on a certain day to ask for an ID to make sure you are who you say you are?
You can do that, but that works.
Only on LLCs or for everybody that lives here? Do you want to?
Why not do it for everyone? But because everybody's so busy,
Because I was advised not for that to be taken.
Okay, so then that's what I'm saying, because I don't want to be sarcastic about it or anything.
No.
Again, I'm just looking futuristically.
I think we talked about this last time, and we said, this is a great point, and I still think it's a great point, right? And if you keep coming up with the question, I'll still think it's a great point. It's not going to change my mind. The question is, what is a workable solution to this issue? And if they don't want the barcode, the pool, and they want to live here illegally, and no one is saying anything about it, it is a little challenging to
Right,
enforce,
but right, my point being, no one is saying anything about it, meaning us. We're not privy from the get-go that an LLC purchased said building. You are. Administration is, because they fill out the paperwork.
Right.
So what can they do? Not us. What kind of policy and procedure can be put into place? Because it's not
I think that's right. I think that's probably the answer. The board will revisit this, I guess, issue, but I think that probably the only thing that will stop this is random checks on LLC occupancies.
So then can we implement that?
I think you're opening up a can of worms with potential discrimination.
But why is it discriminatory? This is the paperwork that you signed.
All I know is I represent a lot of associations on the Department of Civil Rights claims, and most of them don't appear to be discriminatory, but people don't like getting knocked on the door and asked for an ID. They just don't like that. And developing a policy where she asked if it's fair. The only policy you're saying is to discriminate against LLC ownership and ask to have periodic checks and pop-ins. What is the difference between an LLC purchasing and somebody else purchasing?
Right, what I was saying, I said, if you wanted to check everything, that's fine. And you just said I wouldn't suggest that.
Right.
Right now, my point, what I'm focused on is the LLC ownership.
That's what you're focused on. You have to.
For now, but I understand that I could just, buy a property here. I'm not an LLC, but I'm going to rent it out and not live here.
Sure.
And no one is going to know.
Anybody can do that unless you go in and do random inspections of random people on random days, or they actually want to amend it, you want to barcode, they want to come in and use some of these associations.
I don't know what the answer is or anything, but I'm asking for.
I'm just trying to.
That people can just do that, and we're not allowed to rent until after 3 years of ownership, but we know that renting's happening.
I hear you. I think what I'm just trying to say is it's a very, very hard solution, and I'm just trying to point out some of the potential issues with the way you presented, but I think very, very valid. I mean, yes.
So there has to be, maybe there's something, collectively.
Sure.
And really quick, Tom, I don't know if it's you as a manager, just, I always say I don't want to nickel and dime, but I nickel and dime because we're the ones who are paying everything. Regarding the ballots for election, and I know it's a contention point, we have received the one call on 227 to say who was running, and I forget Antoinette or Antonia, I forget her name, who took herself off on 227. On 3/9, my ballot was postmarked, that it was mailed. So days after, we knew this woman was dropping off out of the election, and then the ballots were still mailed with her name on it. Okay, so then why couldn't we, or get a volunteer committee to attach, staple something onto that, to say, please know that she is no longer, because it's just taking votes away from other people. That's just my point. And also, I don't know if we could do it, $1.90 to mail each and every ballot to all of these homes. Can we open it up just a few days as a suggestion, how we did with the directory, where people go to the administration building and they would pick up the phone directory, that they can go and pick up their ballot packet, and then whomever doesn't pick it up after that time, then mail it through the post office, just to save some money.
It has to be mailed.
Is that a possibility?
We'll talk about it.
Okay, this is what saving inspection. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Route 342D. On the issue of the LLCs and all that, just really thought occurred to me something.
Can everybody please stop talking? I can't hear what you're saying. Okay.
Perhaps, well, to her point about the LLCs and the renters, and perhaps when you do the age verification forms, you can require a photo ID to be submitted with your age verification. You've done it in the past, and that might give you an opportunity to check the situation a little bit. Match the name to who's supposed to be there.
We do that.
Well, that might be your opportunity to at least get a little visibility into the situation. But anyway, I'm really up here because I want to ask Tom about something. It's my understanding that right inside Gate 1, where that little structure was put up by the water company, that, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They drilled the well there, right?
No, they put in what they call the vault for a meter, because the community was not built with meters coming into the community originally. The water processing plant actually was built by the developer, which was the service area at one point. So when it was turned over to Lakewood Heavyway, there were very few main meters coming into the community. There were only meters on your residential units. Most of our irrigation system was unmetered. So now they're able to meter the flow of water coming in.
No well there, because I was told that was a well
The
drilled
building
operation.
next to our yard, is that building that they put up?
They didn't put it,
Yeah.
by the 700s? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was always a well there. They put it in a deeper well.
Because it kind of coincides with the groundwater. Not just, I realize there was a drought, I do. But I think it coincides with the groundwater level dropping drastically. And I think that might have something to do with what's going on in these lakes. Because I've seen heavy rain raise the level of the lake, and it disappears very quickly.
I certainly am not an engineer. I can't speak.
Well, I'm not either, but I wonder if you could
But
perhaps
that
bring
was
that up.
extremely deep well that they drilled. So I'm.
Pull groundwater from the surrounding area.
Pretty far away from this lake.
But it's
Oh, it's right in line. If you look at it like from a drone, I think you find a straight line to that thing. And it does. I was looking into it a bit, and obviously I'm not an engineer either, but I think that might be what's changed our groundwater level, and I think that might be because that actually can pull water from lakes, from retention ponds.
I think though it's close proximity to Woodill.
No, Woodell's fed. Woodell has a water source. It's a fed lake, okay? But those are not. And that's the difference. And when you start pulling from the ground, it actually can affect. I just think it might be something to engineer about.
Yeah.
Because it's really bad.
Okay.
Hi, John at 713C. Greg, this is for you. I'm sure somebody on the board might have passed along some information. There's been some concern about cameras in the community. And in my situation, I don't mind that the car's, radar is out there and making sure that people are safe. And I don't mind that even that there are cameras that could be filming us. It's just that it would be nice, if that is true, to have a sign at the front of our locations, not just for us, to notify us, but to notify any potential person that may want to commit a crime here, and let them know that there's cameras around. I'm being told
There is a sign at each gate, yeah.
there is a sign for radar at each gate.
I'll look at it on my way out.
Okay,
The sign that says
just so you know, you told me that there's a sign at each gate without you knowing that for sure. There is no sign. I wouldn't come up here and tell you that if I wasn't positive. There's a sign that says cause of radar is being used, but nothing about cameras observing everybody, on specific roads. And as I was told, it's being done to see if people are dumping or if people if they don't live in the community. I'll buy that. That's perfectly fine. But maybe if there were signs up that told everybody that, they might consider not committing a crime here, as opposed to just doing it.
Yeah, there's a sign there for looking at.
What does it say? What does it say?
Yeah, yeah, it's a neighborhood watch sign monitored by camera surveillance. It's the blues, it's when you come in and looking.
And we have a neighborhood sign, and who monitors these cameras?
So the guard has access to the cameras in various locations, but typically we'll go back and we'll research things when there's
If it's a trial or anything.
Right, some brought to our attention and we'll go and take.
Okay, where are all these cameras?
Gate 1, Gate 2, the rec halls, service area.
We're talking, no, there's cameras out on the road.
Anything that's on a roadside or in a temporary location, like a fence line, is only like a trail cam. It's only temporary.
Okay. One that accompanies the rock. Not that there's a camera in the rock, but that John puts a camera about 10 feet away on a tree. Why is that?
Because when people tamper with property, you want to be able to capture the person that's tampering with that property.
Completely. Okay, fair enough. But I'm going to check that sign.
Yeah, when you come in, there's like a smiley face sign, and there's a couple signs underneath it.
Okay, good. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Have we finished the president's comments yet?
No.
Okay. Are you going to make some? Because I have a few things I want to mention. Or you want me to go first?
You want to mention to me?
Everybody.
Okay.
Especially the new board members. These are small things, but I think you all need to be aware of it because perhaps you haven't been aware of it. Well, we know the real estate office. They moved out. We had a lawsuit. We won. It's still empty. There's no revenue there. The vending machines in both buildings, we don't own them. We're making no money. Why do we not get our own vending machines? It may be pittance, but why are we letting outside people do this? The ice cream truck, I spoke to the lady that pulls up down in Buckingham, and she said, oh, we do this as a convenience for the people in the pools. Isn't that wonderful? What do we get? She said, nothing. We've done it for 8 years. We're making nothing. Any outside vendor that comes in here, we ought to be getting a piece of it. What are we doing? This has been 8 years with the ice cream woman, and all she's making is money and we're making nothing. Okay. One more thing, Tom, would you please put the benches back in the basketball court? I have to ask you every year. Sit out there in the dirt. Would you please, so that cars don't park in the basketball?
Yes, Frank was supposed to put it back. I'm make sure they get put back.
Would you? Very much. Now, I want to talk about the gates. This is my last issue. The gates, gate 1 and gate 2. Very often they go up, they don't come down. I call the guard. Oh, we're waiting for somebody to come in. So I managed to catch the guy who does the work, one guy anyway, who does the work on the gates. I said, let me ask you a question. When you get a call, do you have so long to get in here? He said, no. I said, wait a minute. Now I can vouch for Susan Stroud on this, because you both work for the government. When you write a service contract, something goes wrong, they have so long to get in here. 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. Wait till next week, next month. Oh, we're waiting for a part. That's fine. It needs to be something, if you know how to write a contract, which I don't think we do, it needs to be something in the contract that says, you will respond within 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever it is. That needs to be in it. That's not how we write contracts. So would you please take care of that?
Yes.
Thank you. And all these vendors that come in to do things, give us a piece of it.
Okay. Thank you, Tom and Greg, for your answers. All right, President's report. I'll be very quick. In a few minutes, we'll be swearing in 4 new candidates. I just want to mention one trustee who has been on the board for probably close to 6 years with me. And she has been a very productive person for this village. Things that she has brought on the table here and improved this village has been great. If it wasn't for her, a lot of this stuff in this village would be done. I want to thank Sandy Accomano for being a great trustee. She's a good friend of mine, and I love her. And I know she will be doing things outside of the board. I know she's doing the pantry already. Wants to get involved with the foundation. She will be involved with this village, and that's what we need. More people like Sandy, because she's a great person. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you,
very much, Tom. And I just want to say, I know it's hard to believe after this meeting, but I really enjoyed being on the board. I don't think people realize the amount of time and energy that it takes to do a good job on the board. I've had a wonderful time working with this board, and with the staff are amazing. And I just want to wish good luck to Dory and Raul, our new board members.
All right, now we will announce the candidates who are getting sworn, the trustees who are getting sworn in. And then we'll start the other meeting. Reorganization meeting.
So I'll just quickly announce the new trustees and then we'll adjourn and we'll come back with the officers. The new trustees, congratulations. Not so new, Tom Paterci, Corey Grimes, Raul Rodriguez, and Terry Panzeri. What is it? I don't have the spell. Hazian. Equal business. All right, so, yeah, so right now we can leave and we'll come back and
May 7th, it's a Thursday, right? 10 o'clock in the morning, and at 6 o'clock at Buckingham, 10 o'clock here, there will be a prayer, National Day of Prayer. Okay?
all right, so this is what we'll do. We will call the board meeting to order, and then I'll administer the oath to the new trustees. Then we will break, we'll vote for the officers, then we'll come back and ask the officers. So right now, I need a motion to...
I can make motion to call this meeting to order. All in favor?
All right.
You're going to take that vote in front of us, correct? It has to be in front of us.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Historical practice.
Yes, it does.
Historical.
According to...
Okay, so this is a board meeting, and you have to sit down.
Right, but that vote is supposed to be taken in front of us. And you know that, right?
When was the last time that?
There's nothing in the bylaws. It's according to, I mean, if you want me to board...
Ma'am, we heard your comment, please sit down. Continue.
According to the New Jersey Plan of Real Estate Development and Full Disclosure Act, that's what it's according to. That vote has, the nominations and the vote has to be taken in front of the membership. If you don't want to do it...
Sharon, when was the last time that was done?
To be clear...
Historical practice takes precedence. Historical practice takes precedence. Then this individual members. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Okay, if I can...
It's in this village, we take our own things. Historical practices, it's done in there.
Hi, Dory Grimes, 334B. You're saying historical practice, we can start a new history today and have transparency in front of all the homeowners.
Can I have all the trustees up at once? Let's do this all at once. All right. Please repeat after me. I, say your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and the bylaws of this association, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, under the authority of the people and the members of this association,
under the authority and the people and the members of this association,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of trustee of the original Leisure Village Association according to the best of my ability. So help me God.
the trustee of the Original Village Association according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations. So, hey, Pike, we're going to elect the officers and close, then we're going to come back into the open session, and we're going to make a motion to approve the officers.
I'd like to make a motion to open this meeting. Report. Okay, this meeting's open.
All right, I'm going to request that the board member make a motion to approve Tom McHugh as president, Debbie Forte as vice president, Raul Rodriguez as secretary, and Julianne Mapes as treasurer. Is that a motion to the board? All in favor? Thank you. Okay.
All right. Reaffirm the bylaws. I need a motion to reaffirm by the bylaws. All in favor? Reaffirm the rules and regulations.
So just to be clear, the board is making standard motions to reaffirm the bylaws. That was the motion. This is a motion to reaffirm the existing rules and regulations. Is that the motion that's on the table?
Reaffirm standard operations and procedures. All in favor? Aye. And new signatures for the bank. All in favor? Aye. Determine the date and regulation monthly meetings. We don't have to do this? I guess that's it. I need a motion to adjourn this meeting. Thank you everybody for coming. We'll see you next month. Not the end of this month.